Yeng. David, welcome.
Thank you, Graham. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm looking forward to this chat because
Yeah, me too.
we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things. Obviously, InsureVite, which is your day job, if I can use that word. Seems strange in the context of an entrepreneur to talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Blockchain, AI, and your background as well. I mean, this is not your first business.
Yeah,
You've had a few, and well, you've been a co-founder of a number of startups as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
It's all been a journey, and some of the, I think we dive a little bit into the background straight off the bat. That from your experience, when I look at what you've achieved in your career, you've got a real mix of different kind of businesses in there.
Yeah.
Do you ever sort of? I mean, this is the challenge that I've had, David. Sorry,
Yeah.
before we sort of dive into InsureVite, is that. Sometimes I think about, I've done lots of different things. I try and think, what's the common theme here in my life? Steve Jobs style, join the dots and so on. Do you are you able to deliver an answer there when you look at what you do? You say, I've done these kind of businesses all my life.
Well, if I must have one, you'll more be towards education. Yeah, but throughout the past few years, I think what I actually acquire is the knowledge of doing business. So when I was in the education sector, I was doing pretty much sales and marketing. So this is very much what we call transferable knowledge. So yeah, everything is different. So I have doing one in education languages. There's Jaundice Academy, and then I founded one Chinese learning portal, which kind of like failed, but a lot of lessons learned from there. And then there's an automated parking system called Park-Lite. Yeah. So and then InsureVite. So throughout this journey, I think what I'm able to apply is the sales and marketing and also the business side of things. So
right. Okay.
This is pretty much transferable.
So would you describe yourself as a technologist?
No, I always consider myself as an entrepreneur seeking to make the world a better place through making small steps, small improvements.
Okay. Yeah. So before we talk about InsureVite, talk a little bit about the other businesses. So Jaundice Academy, what is that?
Okay, it's a language learning school. It's actually an enrichment school. It's a physical school in Marine Parade. So we started in 2012. We are located there because there's a lot of expatriates living around, and there's a lack of schools for their children to actually do enrichment. So we anchor ourselves there. So there's and also because my business partner, she likes to teach.
Right.
Yeah. So kind of like you have one who can teach and one who can do business. So we combine and we found
that. Well, when you started that out, it was 2012, right?
Yeah.
Right at the beginning. Were you both teaching when you started that? How did it work?
Yeah. In the beginning, we all teach. But subsequently, we as the student base grew bigger, we actually hire more teachers in so that to handle the increasing numbers.
Yeah. And how big is that now?
Currently, we have about 300 students. Yeah. And then so somehow we also managed to secure some partnerships in Kazakhstan and in China and delivering English languages programs there. Yeah.
So you have 300 students. How many teachers are teaching there?
Our classes are running on a day-to-day basis. We have about 7 teachers. Yeah. So our classes are not very big, about six students per class max. So it's like keep on consecutively running. Yeah.
So you've got it to that sweet spot, which is the ability which every entrepreneur dreams of. They're not going to exit the business, but they're going to get the business to its self-running stage, right?
Yes.
And your role kind of changes. I mean, you were there when there was just the two of you at the beginning.
Yes.
6.5 years on, you've got it to this stage now. What do you do there? What do you see your role as a co-founder now?
For now, I see myself as more of a manager. So I just manage, but also more of a providing assistance as and when the team needs help. If they can't make decisions, I can come and step in and coach them on what comes under these circumstances, what kind of decisions should be made, and so I'm more on a guiding role over there right now.
Yeah. Well, that's great, isn't it? That this is, in terms of your experience, that you can offer that kind of value, which is not time intensive, is it? And you've got a great team there running it.
Yeah.
You can just kind of like set them on the right direction and be there to help them.
Yeah, so right now a lot of directions is set by themselves. So I'm just providing guidance to guide them along on the right path. Yeah, and of course to contribute whatever knowledge I can in terms of understanding the local enrichment market. Yeah.
Okay, so from building a language school to building an automated parking solution, what's the story there? I can't see the natural connection. So help me out.
Yeah, so there's no connection. So what happened was that in Singapore I see there's a real need to actually change the way parking is being done. Parking charges are being collected, and I just came up with this idea and then supported by another partner that I met, and he's kind of like in tune with me and say, okay, why not we do this? So what happened was that we see parking is being now, if you go through that gantry, sometimes the gantry the system is not working, so it kind of like have a backlog of cars, and it jams up the entire car park there. So what happened is that we want to make it the parking, even as entering exiting it as pleasurable as possible. It's just drive out without being stuck at the gantry. So we came out with that park light solution.
So what does it actually do? Is it an app? Is it a platform of data or what?
Okay, so it actually is an app. So what happens is that we use what you call that, the OCR, to capture the car plate number, and then so you have, when you enter, we capture the car plate number. So when you exit, we match the two. Yeah. And then from there we actually make the count the time, the amount of time that you park, and then based on the parking charges, prevailing parking charges, we actually deduct it right on the app. Yeah. Okay,
so you're sort of using the data and trying to work out where the spaces are for car drivers. Is that how it works? Because you're trying to solve the problem. I think the problem is trying to find a space, no?
Yeah, there's one thing that we are working towards. We are building. We're trying to build what we call geospatial recognition. So we're trying to build the car parks into a 2D space, so we can actually help to guide. So when they go in, we actually can guide them to an empty lot. They still work in progress there.
Okay, interesting. So we've got Jaundice Academy. We've got Parklight, which you're co-founder of both. Now, InsureVite.
Yeah.
How did that come about? What was the genesis of that startup?
Okay, so InsureVite is a bit more personal. So it actually happened when my first daughter was born. So she has severe jaundice. So she was actually hospitalized. But before she was born, actually we got her a hospitalization policy. So in case when she was born and there's some health problems and she was hospitalized, we can claim from there. So jaundice is one of the claimable one. So when she was hospitalized for severe jaundice, we actually asked our agent for a claim form. Took her 2 weeks to come back to us with a form, which is actually PDF. She can actually send us, but took her 2 weeks to respond.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Why?
I don't know, for reasons known to herself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then so when she sent to us, we actually have to quickly gather all the data, all the necessary documents, and then we have to actually mail it out. So what happened was that when we mailed it out, finally, the insurers came back and say, okay, you have actually missed the deadline.
No way.
Yes, it happened. So you missed the deadline of submitting a claim, so they cannot approve it. So I was actually quite agitated, saying, why can't we just automate this process of submitting a claim? I can do it right in the hospital itself. I mean, if I can automate this, why not? So I don't have to wait.
Did that cost you financially?
Well, it's not a huge amount, a few $100. Yeah, but the experience tells me that our agents are mainly focused on closing sales. Not after sales support. Yes.
Yeah. And I suppose I think beyond the actual money, it's the hassle and the agitation.
Yes.
At that point, the last thing you want to worry about is a form. You want to worry about your daughter and your wife, obviously, and the last thing is chasing up an insurance agent. That's quite stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, every day you're just looking at your handphone. Has she replied?
Yeah, right.
And then you see those ticks on your WhatsApp, but there's no response from there. So kind of like gets you up, and then your daughter is there under the purple light, the blue lights, you know, trying to. So you're like, you know, being busy running around, taking care, worry about my daughter, and then on the other hand, I have to keep on chasing her for a simple form. Yeah.
I wonder as well. I mean, jaundice in babies is quite common, isn't it? It's not a rare condition. It happens.
Yeah, it's quite common, especially in this part of the world. Yeah. So
I can imagine 2 weeks to send it. Anyway, so yeah, I know. Okay, let's not give your ex-insurance agent too much airtime. So how do you deal with that problem? Because it's systemic, isn't it? You've got this systemic problem where the insurance broker is incentivized to sell policies to people like you and me, but not incentivized to service that policy. There would be, and the insurance company would have some kind of claims department, right, and they deal with it, but you know, it's quite bureaucratic. How do you deal with that when you have such a systemic issue?
For insurance, it's one of legacy. So for them, there's really pretty much nothing much they can do. Is like there's so much bureaucracy out there within their corporate world, and then there's so much legacy that is being passed down, and it's so hard for them to change. So which is why I came up with InsureVite to actually try to streamline this entire process and to fight this legacy.
Fight this legacy.
Fight the legacy, break the bureaucracy, and to just make it as delightful as possible.
I mean, delightful. It could be delightful experience, right? But it isn't. And it's interesting. I mean, when you look at the legacy, I used to work for. I mean, years and years ago, I worked in finance and insurance companies as well. And the claims departments would, at the time, I think they were called like loss departments. Loss. Loss. So it's like, okay, you know, this is all our losses are in this department. That's how they look at it, as opposed to customer service, right? Effectively. So we have a mindset issue here as well. That the whole thing. What is your solution? How does InsureVite go about fighting that legacy?
Okay, so what happened was that the reason why it's called claims is called loss because it's the department that actually pays up money if they improve. So a lot of the insurers, they actually hold back. That's why you have 45 days, 60 days of the process. So actually they hold back to actually make their financial statement look better, but then they lose the customer in that way. So what happens is that we at InsureVite, we want to challenge that status quo. We want to make sure that, you know, even when that when you pay out your claims, instead of making a loss, you actually make a profit. So how does that work? Is that every claim is a what we call moment of truth. So that's when your customers know more about this insurer. Is it really reliable? You know, when I need you, are you really there?
Right.
So InsureVite provides this platform on a chatbot basis, whereby you can interact with it any time during the day. So it's always there for you. And then and when things happen, the first thing you can do is to talk to the bot, let it help you with your claims journey.
Right.
And then and you don't have to, you know, wait for 2 weeks for the form to come. It's submitted immediately through, and the bot will help you with that. So once that happens, you know, at the claims the claims department, you don't really need a human anymore. So what happens is that for us, we have this smart contracts and AI to run anti-fraud and also run some analytics to make sure that, you know, it's a genuine claim, and then we get your payout as quickly as possible. So we get this inspiration actually from Lemonade. Lemonade is in the US. They're doing P&C insurance in a similar fashion. So and we find that this is a very good initiative to actually say that, okay, right now, you know, insurers need to change that game. It's no longer holding back your claims, but rather to pay out as quickly as possible, so that people gain their trust in you, and then you can actually upsell. So actually you are making a profit every time you actually make a claim of that.
Is there sort of a tangible link between servicing a customer in this way and upselling more services? Does that lead to, I mean, in theory it should be, but does it actually do that?
Not just in insurance, but in many other service sectors, if you realize a lot of the what you call that, the customer loyalty comes from actually providing good services.
Yeah.
So the moment people feel your service, they actually feel being loyal to you, which is why a lot of outside other industries, they try to come up with all sorts of apps and things like that to make the experience as seamless as possible, to keep that, actually used to keep the customer loyalty. So once you have that customer loyalty, it's easier for you to upsell, and this has been proven many times, whether it's in airlines or in transportation.
Exactly. And once you realize how expensive it is to acquire a new customer and advertise to a new customer, and how much money, I mean, insurance companies are some of the biggest sponsors of sports events in the world, like AIG used to be, for example. I mean, AXA as another one. You know, these large multi-billion-dollar companies spending billions on advertising, because this is the problem, right? Is because that's the only way that they can sell. Systemically, they're not set up to create a great service where they can build customer loyalty, and that customer then to say, actually, well, maybe this is not the cheapest in the market. Maybe I'm paying a little bit more, but I will pay that because these guys aren't going to rip me off. They're not going to increase my premium by 5% every year above inflation. And, you know, I'm going to get my money actually when I claim, right? Therefore, you know, if they come to me and say, hey, Graham, do you want, you know, insure your road bike, or do you want to insure your family for health insurance? Yeah, I'll go with them.
But definitely. So long, the moment you actually feel that this any insurer is with you, anytime you need them, they're always there. Anytime you need a claim, they actually pay you out responsively and also instantaneously. You feel that they actually make good on their promises. Insurance ultimately for the past 200 years is to actually insure you against risks. And to make sure that you are as protected as you can. To me, I see it as a social good, a social necessity. People need to be insured against risk. But the penetration rate today is pretty low. I mean, one of the reasons is because people don't trust insurance companies anymore.
Absolutely.
Like, why? I buy something, I pay you the premium. At the end of the day, when I make a claim, oh, I missed it.
You missed this clause in your policy here, which means that we don't pay you anything, right? So that's the trust issue.
So this trust, over the years, it has gone down, and you see people jumping around, shopping around. There's no loyalty.
It becomes transactional, doesn't it? It's just a commodity. They're trying to sell at the cheapest possible price.
So it's what I call race to bottom right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see it a bit in the airlines as well, right? That sort of the cheapest ones. There's some airlines I won't fly because even though they're the cheapest, I know the experience is going to be terrible, and I might save a little bit of money on the airline, but I'll lose my luggage or I get stuck on a runway, right?
So that's definitely.
It's the same with insurance, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely similar. So you can take a look why the Singapore Airlines can actually always command a premium over the rest. They're always top. They always provide good services, and people enjoy that service. But of course, we can't say 100% of the time, and some people will still be very price sensitive. But that's not what we are targeting. That's not what we focus on. We focus on providing those who are really into this service, which is majority of the people.
Absolutely. I think what people are into, or what they're not into, is being treated badly. And I think, to your example with your daughter and that insurance agent, she's back again. It's like, I think people, let's say they charge you 10% more. You're like, okay, fine, that's all right. I can accept that. But when they treat you badly and make you feel bad, I think that's when consumers walk. They think, I won't settle for this. Like, I'm not going to make you feel like this, right? And it's the same with airlines, the same with insurance, and so on.
So I mean, if you get charged 10% higher, but there's a reputation behind this insurance that says they are always with you. When you make your claim, or it's a delay, you really get it paid really quick. But it's like, it's worth it. No, I pay a bit more, but I get premium service. Whereas if you're providing bad services, regardless how much lower you are, people pretty much skeptical and apprehensive about it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your company itself, InsureVite. How many people are you at the moment?
We are a team of 5. So we have one CTO, myself, and then we have 3 other developers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and according to my notes, you're less than a year old?
Yes, we are founded in September last year.
Okay.
So it's about 10 months maybe.
Okay, so in the last 10 months, how have you funded it up until this point? Was it friends and family? I mean, it's not cheap to build anything AI or blockchain based, right?
Yeah. So it's mostly bootstrap. So mostly we fund ourselves. And in May this year, we managed to convince an angel investor to make a very small investment, really very small investment into our company to help us. To help us out. Yeah.
Okay. So you had an initial very small raise with an angel investor, and you're currently raising at the moment?
Yes, I'm raising a seed round. Yeah.
So you're raising a seed round. Can you share with us how much that is?
We are raising about 400,000.
400,000 Singapore dollars?
Yes.
That's about what in US? That's about 300.
300.
Yeah.
Yeah. About there.
Okay, roughly.
Yeah.
And what would that be for?
Well, we need because we are focusing a lot on the AI, so we need data scientists, and obviously developer 3 is not going to be enough to build something that on that scale. So we need to hire developers. We need to hire data scientists to help us to come up with models based on data, and also for this what we call customer acquisition. So what we are doing is that we try to go for exhibitions and things like that, and then all this costs.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So we are raising.
So your customer acquisition at the moment, you mentioned exhibitions. So are you out there just on the road, just talking to people, doing the hustle?
Yeah. So my role is mainly hustling.
Yeah.
So I hustle.
Those are the kind of entrepreneurs fans I really like, the hustlers, because I think they're the true entrepreneurs, right? They go out and they get business.
Yeah, and this is I think I'm quite fortunate in the sense that the 2 of us, my CTO and myself, and my CTO is really focused on the tech side.
Right.
So he's never a hustler. He's never good at presentation. So
but that's what you want, isn't it? It's yin and yang, isn't it, in that sort of relationship?
And he's very good with technology. So it made me feel very at ease about the whole tech part of things. So it's pretty much complementary. So for us, it's like, okay, so I will do the hustling, I will do the rest of the things. You just focus on a thing. I'll focus. Then we come together, we brainstorm all the time to come up with better ideas and solutions. Yeah. So leave me with hustling. So I've been traveling around and things like that. Yeah. And right now we have a base in the Netherlands as well. Yeah. So
what's the Netherlands about? Is that a developer base or what?
Okay. So it's actually more for our European operations.
Right.
So because we actually completed an incubator program there, incubation program there. So obviously we now have some kind of good traction. We have networks to help us.
Which was the program you were in Netherlands?
It's in Holland, which is in the south of Holland. Yeah. So to many who doesn't know, it's like 200 over kilometers south of Amsterdam.
And what was the company that was running that?
Okay, so the incubation program is called Brightlands. Yeah, Brightlands Disruption Program. Yeah, so it's a 2-month incubation program. Actually helps us a lot, in terms of developing the market, developing your product, developing the market. So we're there. We spend 2 months there to brush out the idea. If need be, do some iterations of it. Yeah.
Right. So you were in Singapore when you got the call to go to the Netherlands?
Yeah, so it was quite an interesting story. This program is actually got in after the second try. The first try we didn't get in because that was in November last year, so we're like just 2 months old. Everything is not pretty much set up. So then in early this year, we actually made it. We have some LOIs from Mongolia thanks to my CTO. Yes, he's actually quite advanced in age.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has some good connections there, and then we managed to sign some LIs, and then with this, we actually got accepted to that program. Yeah. So I actually got a call when I was spending my Chinese New Year holidays.
Right. And how did that work? You know, like, okay, you've got to get out to the Netherlands, pack your bags.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Yeah, so when we got a call, there was never a moment of hesitation that I'm going out. Yeah, because what I realized over that period of time is that in Singapore, because the companies here the insurance companies here are so international.
Yeah,
you really need to prove yourself outside before they really listens to you.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is a business of risk. That de-risks it for them, isn't it? That you're not just a Singapore startup aimed at Singaporeans, right?
Yeah.
You can go global.
Yeah, and also you will give them a impression that you really are thinking global. Because that's, I think, one of the problems in Singapore is that we look really too much either in Singapore or Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
We are not global enough. So I when I took this on to go to the Netherlands, I was hoping to have a really global mindset of things, so I can really see what's happening in Europe, in Northeast Asia, and in Southeast Asia. So it really helped to set your mindset a little bit, and then trying to see your competition on a wider scale. Yeah.
But going global and also having industry knowledge as well is obviously. I wonder how important that is. Don't you have to have a background in insurance or financial services or financial products to be able to build solutions that interface with those companies, or not, as the case may be? Explain to me.
Well, initially I thought so too. And many of those who I've talked to really want someone with background in insurance. But to me, I think Daniel Schreiber, the founder for Lemonade, he said this, which I feel very inspired, is that one of the things is that we don't have background in insurance, which is actually a blessing in disguise. Because without prior knowledge, you actually unshackle yourself from the limitations of the corporate world. You actually can come up with more creative ideas to actually help to solve the problem, which if you are in the corporate, you've probably been set on this mindset.
You've been trained, haven't you, for years?
It's like what you say, you have a thought and they cut it through and then into a square, and you fit in the square. So without being in the industry, actually you don't fit into the square, but you can think out of the box. So it actually helps you to get moving, and also to come up with a solution that actually helps to solve their problems from an angle where the corporates usually don't, which is from the customer side of things.
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting. So what you're saying is that because you're not from that world, that's an advantage.
To me, it's a blessing.
Yeah. You're not sort of shackled by the way of thinking. Well, of course, this takes 2 weeks to send a PDF to you, right? You're asking, why not? Why can't we do this straight away?
Yeah, so I mean, if you are in the corporate world, they'll say, "Oh, it takes 2 weeks because it's ABC." But to me, it's like, why?
Yeah, exactly. You're thinking like the customer, right?
Yeah, I was thinking like a customer. I want it quick, like snap of the finger. I want it done now.
Absolutely. That's fascinating. Don't you need industry relationships to interface with their systems and their legacy systems, though, or not?
Well, that part actually, we don't really need it, because at the end of the day, one of the beautiful thing about InsureVite is that we co-develop. So I think it's also quite endemic in a lot of the startups today. They only focus on working with either the IT teams and I just throw you a solution, you learn it on your own. I just integrate it on your own. So for us, we work with the business units instead of the IT, but we work with things like the customer service teams, the IT teams, to understand what is really the problem that is plaguing you. And then we can, and then from there we actually co-develop with the insurance company and say, okay, this is your problem, and from our perspective as a customer, this is this is the problem. So we come up with the solution, and then from the IT team, we actually more a support role in terms of technology side. And then after that, we actually do a lot of APIs, so we don't really need integration. So actually, and then from the start to the end, this insurance company is part of the journey. So it actually reduces the time frame, of rolling out a new solution. Yeah.
And I imagine these partnerships probably provide some good data for you as well to collect about
Yeah.
consumer behavior insurance, right?
Yeah, they do. For us, it's the data is the most important part.
Yeah, I wondered.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's been a while since I worked in financial services, and when I worked in financial services, they were still in Windows 90 something, like Windows 97. So, like today, what they collect in terms of consumer behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how useful that information is for what you're doing.
Well, you'll be surprised. Some of the insurance companies are still using Windows 97.
I think we're on XP now, aren't we?
Yeah. So those data that they collect, really, they either do it through paper surveys or
questionnaires.
Yeah, or questionnaires, or they do it online surveys. But if you see what is happening in the market right now, you really see that they did a lot of the surveys and things and consumer behaviors, trying to understand the consumer behavior. But at the end of the day, nothing much really came out of it. So they are hoarding. They have a whole bunch of data, but they are hoarding it, and they are not utilizing it to the fullest potential.
Yeah.
So with InsureVite, we hope to work with them to actually utilize it and realize the full potential of what they actually have, which can actually bring them even more benefits. Yeah.
That's the challenge, isn't it? These large corporations, they silo the data for whatever reasons, political reasons, like fear of like freeing up the data, but people keep them even within departments.
Yeah.
You know, I remember like one department will have data which they didn't want to share with another department, even though they're in the same team, quote unquote, right?
So for my understood is that there's this age-old adage whereby they say that if things are not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
The truth is, really, it's not really broken. You can see the industry is still raking in billions of dollars in revenue and profits every year. So to them, this is not something that's broken in the eyes of the shareholders, in the eyes of the chairman or whatever. But it's not perfect. But it's not broken. So it will take them a lot of time to really come to a realization that change is necessary. Yeah.
Maybe too late.
Yeah, and you have also people up there who are pretty advanced in age, and they have their own way of doing things, which is pretty analog in a sense. Yeah, so it will take time, but it will come soon.
Excellent. It's great to hear. So in terms of your business and the team that you have 5 people now. You're obviously running it quite lean, which is great. Where do you go from here? You're recruiting, you're raising. What kind of people do you want on your team? And the reason I ask this is because they watch this podcast, some of those, right? So you want to make sure that your company culture is right. And I think a lot of that has to do with you and your attitude towards this business and this challenge. So what kind of people would you be interested in hearing from?
Well, definitely people who share the same passion to want to transform this industry.
Yeah.
But more than that, we want people who are really into the data, who can really come out, crunch the numbers, came up with models to help us along. But also one thing that I feel I would need is someone who is also from business side of things, so we can actually bounce more ideas of coming of marketing strategies and things like that. So these are the people we're looking for: data scientists, business developers.
Right.
Yeah.
So people who are good with numbers and can build models, are passionate about numbers.
Yes.
And hustlers. Hustlers like yourself.
Hustlers.
Who can go and knock on doors.
Yeah. Knocking on doors, not afraid of failure, not afraid of rejection, just keep on hustling. Yeah.
Do the trade shows.
Go to a trade show.
Talk to everybody on the stands and all that stuff.
But I mean, being working in a startup, I mean, it really requires quite a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
On the part, not just yourself, but also your time, perhaps your family.
Yeah.
So you need to know that whoever wants to join the team must be able to make that sacrifice. Yeah. Because we are so lean, and we will remain lean for a considerable period. So for us is that you need to make that sacrifice and understand that, okay, we are doing something great here. We're going to transform a age-old industry which has pretty much not changed for the past 20-30 years, and you're going to change that in a couple of months or years.
Right. You
So-
need challenges then, right?
Yes.
You want to be part of that. So, okay, why would they want to work for you? Because you talk about sacrifice, and this is always the challenge, and ask this as well as a startup founder myself, is that why, apart from the fact they can make a lot of money when you go public, etc., etc., you sell to the big guys, what would be in it for them, like, what would be the reason why they would want to be on board with this kind of company?
Well,
especially you.
First things first, because they get to work with me.
Well, what's good about that? I mean, I can see that sitting here with you. I mean, it'd be enjoyable, but what would that be for?
For one, I think one thing that they come in, they will experience what we call really high, very quick pace company, and then for me, every day, every day is different. Every day we have come up with different ideas, we come up with different means of doing things. We connect with different people. We'll go for this, we'll go for this event, we'll go for that event. So the person who comes in, they get to enjoy really a startup lifestyle whereby everything is quick, change is everywhere. The only constant is change. So they come in, they work in a dynamic environment, but also they get to learn to do business. They get to learn how to build a business from ground up, from zero. And the good thing about working with me is that I'm pretty open to new ideas. I'm pretty open to being scolded. Yeah, so if you
feedback,
feedback, that's a nice one. But chastising, yeah, and then also because with me, they can learn about how I failed one of my my startups, and then how I built a successful one. Yeah, and then all the lessons from there, actually, they can actually take it with them when they want to build their own.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point. The advice that I would give any potential startup founder, future startup founder, they may be leaving university or somebody early in their career or somebody who wants to change their career. The two pieces of advice that they should take on board is firstly, learn how to sell. Now, you may not be selling by doing 100 of these every day, but you could get out and sell in your own way. It could be writing, could be doing a blog, could be like video and so on. Everybody sells in their own way. And secondly is, understudy. Find somebody who's really good and wants to teach you, and somebody who's done the things that you want to do, which could be starting a business, being successful, being through that cycle, who can get you up that curve as well. And you don't have to go and start your business. I think there's always that risk of starting your business before you're ready. Go and understudy with somebody and learn how to sell. And it sounds like they're going to get both of those if they come and work for you, David. So.
Yeah, they get the best of both worlds. And the best thing is that unlike corporates whereby you're set in one job description, you get many. So you get to learn from a bit here, a bit there, and you actually accumulate that experience and that knowledge from there. Yeah.
Excellent. David Yeng, everybody, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your journey with us.
Thank you very much, Graham.
And
it's a pleasure.
Being so honest as well with your journey as a startup founder. It's never in a straight line. But I love the fact that you describe yourself more as the sort of the business-oriented, the hustler type startup, which I think is great. So I think that is what we need more of, because it's so easy, isn't it, that we live in a world where people see very successful startups. It's like two young guys, they go to Stanford, they walk out of Stanford, they get 50,000 in funding. And it's just easy. They've got the next blockchain AI startup worth billions. It's never that easy, is it? There's a real life out there to live, and it seems like you're a great way to learn that just by listening to your story or working with you.
Yeah, it's never an easy journey, from start. There's a lot of rock. It's quite rocky. You fall, but how you pick up yourself is very important. Yeah. So I consider myself lucky because I have this mindset that when I set my mind to do something, I really want it to come to pass. So where every time I fall, what you need to do, just brush it off. Dust it off, and then just keep walking, fall down again,
pick yourself up.
Yeah,
keep going. David Yeng, thank you so much. Where do people find out more about yourself? They could be potential investors, potential partners. They could be even people who want to work in your team. Where's the best way to get in contact with you?
Well, they can actually find me on LinkedIn.
Okay, we'll put all the details in the show notes.
Yeah,
we'll do that. Don't worry. You don't need to read out your link. We put it all there. Okay, that's the best way.
Yeah, either that or I can from the comment section. I can just give my email address. They can just reach me up.
Excellent, David. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much. Thanks.
Excellent. Good.